Hey YouTube, it's Mike here. Gonna do a little compare and contrast. There's two Cavaliers right here. Pretty well matching cars. One's gray, one's red. The red one I own, the gray one I'm pretty well buying. I haven't actually handed over all the money or whatever, but I'm just gonna do a little go over of both vehicles, their strong and weak points. Part of this is just so I can decide which is the car to deal with. The one that I'm currently driving has some emissions issues and transmission issues, and initially I'd got this gray one as a donor, but that was before I looked back at it. And so we'll go through and then we'll decide what we do, because maybe the gray one goes on the road and the red one becomes the donor. We'll see. All right, so let's go here. In the back, I don't know if you can hear that. I have a small exhaust leak, which is about standard. Rear bumper scratched up, contractor type of issues. I do have a ball hitch on here, which is used quite a bit. So whichever car gets fixed up gets the hitch. I had a bulldozer, lawnmower tractor unit thing on here one time, smashed the tail light and banged in the plastic here. So that needs attention. Back in here we have the usual cancerous looking stuff around the gas cap these Cavaliers seem to get. And then the odd thing, well, I can't show you probably anyway, inside the filler tube I have a very small crack, and I think that's giving me the what is it, the 440 code, my evap fuel emission thing. So we'll come around here. My tires are shot. My e-brake works. I haven't had the rear brakes apart in a while, but I know my fronts are just about due for new brakes. The interiors, personally, I don't even... Right, so interiors don't really matter that much. Both are the same and both could be exchangeable. Doors and rockers on this gray or this red car are in pretty decent shape. And I don't know if we can get a look in here underneath. You can see underneath the mud. It's got your usual rusty bits, but nothing too major. So that's kind of a strong point of this car. I know the underside is pretty solid, and the rockers along here and the doors. My windshield is good. My wipers are rusty, but that's normal. This car has the rot spot in the fender here, on the passenger side, so that sucks. Starting to blister in here. And then the rest of my front bumper I think is pretty good. Now I have these both running, and I'm hoping we can get a separate listen in here. Sounds like a regular 2.2 Ecotech. Oh, I'm shaking you because I'm leaning on the motor. The motor does have its usual little shake they seem to all have. When they're idling, they seem to want to vibrate a little bit or something. And every Cavalier or Ecotech 2.2 I think I've ever listened to does the same thing. This car and the other car, the air conditioning's supposed to work. We'll listen to this one. Again, same motor, both automatic transmissions. They're pretty well identical when you open the hood. Except this one sounds to me, if you can hear it, I don't know, got the same shake too. It's a little velvy, and I'm not sure what that is. I do know that a lot of the Ecotechs tend to have that a little bit. And so yeah, that's a consideration if I'm going to try to run this car. It does have the tappy kind of sound to it, so that's that. Now we'll look here along the front of mine. It's actually all solid. There's no rust or anything like that. And otherwise, I mean, under the hood looks fairly clean and rust-free, rot-free. This other car, new battery, it does show a little more surface rust. I was noticing in here, I think somebody's been monkeying around a little bit. There's a bit of rust. But we'll now go around the passenger side of this gray car. In here we can see, I think this may have been touched up actually when I look at it. I don't know the whole history on this car. I know a kid had it at one time, but the girl that I'd be getting it from, she's never really, I mean, she's not a mechanic or anything. She just kind of drove it and did what she had to. So this does look like it may have been touched up. It doesn't have the big bubbles, but you can see it is starting to get rusty in that panel. Tires should be good. I don't know if they'd all pass safety, but I know she had a new set of tires, or different set of tires put on, all four. Come back here. We can see the first signs of the rust color along the bottom here. Fairly minor on the rockers. On the actual underneath, it's a heck of a lot cleaner than mine. But I don't know, I see some sweating back here. Can't tell what that is. I wonder if this car had been undercoated a little bit at one point, because it's a little cleaner than mine. This back door here looks like it's been scrubbed, and that's made it start to rust in here. And you know, I think somebody painted the door handles too. This car has been painted, I think, because these should be black. But continuing on our tour, we have our usual here, beginning to rust, bit of cancerous looking stuff. She was getting an evap emissions every so often. We talked about changing her gas cap. I don't know if we ever came up with a solution, so that's something. But I opened this up, I didn't see any major cracks in it like mine. It's not a major crack, but it's a crack inside, which is going to throw my computer off and confuse it. Down in here, I don't know what happened. It looks like somebody drove so fast it blew the layer of paint off. Not that that matters, that's plastic. Back end, both tail lights are good. Trunk lid looks good. One thing on this particular vehicle is got custom speakers and a custom stereo, which I know have a history with this vehicle, in particular of causing some electrical gremlins to appear. So that is something I gotta check into to see. I guess doing the work myself, electrical gremlins aren't as big of an issue. Back here to the driver's side, just noticing a little bubble there. I started pulling the e-brake on this one. I don't know enough about it. I gotta ask her when I talk to her if she's been using it at all. I think I had mentioned to her that she should be every so often, because that way if there's a need for it or you want to pass the safety, then the e-brake's going to work. And I did look kind of just into the front wheels too, I guess, while I'm on brakes, and they looked like they weren't that old. I will ask, not that the brakes are terribly expensive, but if I'm going to safety a car, it's worth noting certain little aspects like that, what needs to be done. Couple small cancer bubbles there, not bad there. Dirt in the door handle painted. Yeah, same over here. Bottoms of the door starting to show a little bit of rusty color. A little bit of a paint chip rusting in the door thing there. See, something has been changed here. Look at those door trims don't match. I wondered actually if the doors have been changed on this car at one point, and I'm starting to think more and more maybe they have been. And who knows why. But hopefully she's not a wrecker car. I didn't hear that, and everything looks good and straight. Slight bit of rust and stuff behind the front wheel, kind of normal in the rocker. Nothing catastrophic in that zone. I am gonna just double check mileage here. We're at 2.5. Of course it's gonna glare. 2.51641. I'm gonna kill the motor on this one, being as I'm in here. Yeah, interiors are interiors. They seem fine. Windshield on this one's got no cracks. I'm gonna guess this car's had more regular oil changes than mine, but that's not hard to do because I'm pretty bad at it as far as remembering. This front quarter panel on the driver's side showing very slight signs. Again, I'm wondering if it's been doctored or changed, because normally I thought most of these were worse, and I'm pretty sure this has got more mileage than my car. So that panel's not sitting there just perfect. There's a bit of a point here. It makes me think something's been changed, although you'd think you'd see more. No, the bolts have been turned, so maybe. That one's not even tight. Just loose bolt there. So I'm going to close this hood somehow, because I wanted to note this car's been down the highway a fair amount, I know, and it's got the front of the hood here with all the chips all in it above the headlight. And then, like, I think the headlights probably should have been sandblasted worse, so they must have been changed or something at one point. I didn't actually do a full light check, but I did follow this car here. Mechanic drove it here for me, and the taillights all worked, so that's good. And just to compare, I'll try to close my hood, and we can look and see that there's nothing major. There's one little scratch there, and I just felt a bubble there. So then we'll come around the driver's side of my car. This front bumper's pulling away ever so slightly from the headlight, and we've got some actual like rat hole cancer here, getting kind of big and spongy. And part of that's probably because I had a very slow speed catastrophic accident with a post that didn't move, and that's right in the soft spot of the fender. So that's been damaged. And I think because of that damage, I've got extra rust in this area here, the bottom of the rocker on that quarter panel, and my door's been rubbing ever since that accident. So it hasn't rusted because I've been rubbing it clean, I guess. So that's that. I mean, this panel's definitely just all out of whack. Shut this one off. Oh, see, that'll come back. I was going to show you. 158,661 is the kilometers on this car. So see what that compares to. My interior is definitely beat up a little bit more, but then I've been working out of the car a few times, so that's not unusual. Nothing else major to note. I mean, the door here has a few chips out of it, and I wonder, actually I should look inside. So yeah, it is starting to get for the rusty side, but you know, It's to be expected, I guess. Little bubbling along here, and that brings us back to the rear end of my car. So that's that. We got a red 2003 Cavalier. We got a gray one. It's a 2003 Cavalier. Both are automatics, and I would say, now I have a few things in mind, but standing back and looking, I've actually thought before that my car looked as if it needed some rear springs. And that may have to do with me towing stuff all over the place and whatever. I don't think they were broken at all, but I just wondered if they were getting a bit sloppy. And when you glance at them like this, the gray car here definitely has a little more gap in the rear wheel and fender area. So both cars have decent glass. I think they both have working. I mean, this gray car was just taken off the road. She'd been driving it like a daily driver. So that's that. If you do decide to watch this video, let me know what you think. It's almost kind of tough. I wish I could. I mean, I can definitely squish these two cars into one, but one of them has to be the base platform, and it's almost hard to decide which is which. I do know also, I should have noted with my car, with the red one here, the exhaust is hanging. The hangers are broken off, and mine has an exhaust leak, and this other one has an exhaust leak, and mine also has the shield. There's a heat shield on the exhaust for where it goes underneath the fuel tank. And I know mine is hanging really low and maybe bent up now again, but it's definitely not correct. And when you get back and look underneath these cars, mine definitely seems to sag because of that exhaust issue. I think there's one piece of wire holding it up in the back, and that's about all that's left. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, and let me know what you think, what you would do. It's going to be a tough choice, but hopefully it all makes sense when I start to really consider my options. And either way, whichever car I decide to deal with, I can't be out of a car that I can drive for any real length of time. So that's going to be part of the trick, is getting that scheduled. But yeah, we'll talk to you. Thanks for checking it out. Bye.